Welcome, everyone, to the Walkoff on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. We are back once again, finally back in studio. Anthony, we are back. It's our final time picking a slot. We're here, 12 to 1 every Tuesday, and a lot to talk about today because Kyle Tucker is off the board. Since our last episode, Tucker is off the board. Did that happen right after our last episode?
It happened a night or two afterwards, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's always right after. Right after. It can never be day before. Anthony, you need to get some comments out about my Phillies. I need to open up the waterworks to talk about the Phils. Bichette's off the board. JT's off the board. Tucker's off the board. Let's start with Tucker. He's going to the Dodgers. $60 million a year, $240 million, 4-year deal. Incredible. And he's joining Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Edwin Diaz, Tyler Glass. Now, the list goes on and on and on. A little under $60 million AAV per year. And they're going to lose. They're going to have tax penalties and draft pick loses for the Dodgers, but I think honestly they could care less.
No,
they could care less.
It's all about three-peat, and this move helps them be a three-peat. A chance for them to get a three-peat, and it just goes to show you if you had any doubts, which I don't know why you would, that they are the new evil empire. The Yankees have been dethroned for a while now. It's the LA Dodgers, and the fact that they go for $60 million average annual value for this guy, we shouldn't be surprised. But you can't look at that and not say at least this is a team that is just insane. They're spending insane. Now, listen, I'm not going to give the same old crazy take of the Dodgers are the evil and they're what's wrong with baseball. I'm giving you the complete opposite take. The Dodgers are what's right with baseball. They spend on their team. They disregard the money. They have rich ownership, and they care about winning. I give them all the credit in the world, and they're not breaking any rules, so kudos to them. It's on the teams like the Pirates, the Rockies, Miami Marlins, those type of teams to actually spend. I know they can't spend like this, but they can spend. They have billionaire owners. It's on those teams to spend. So all the people going crazy out there about the LA Dodgers saying they're ruining baseball, including some of my Mets fans, so I take some blame there for my Mets fans, but you won't hear it from me because this is what I wanted Steve Cohen to do, and he's done some of this, but he hasn't gone to this extent. And this is what we dreamed of Steve Cohen doing when he bought the team back in 2020. The Dodgers have outspent him, and the Dodgers have outwon him by a lot, and they might do it again this year. And it's just, they came in at the last minute. Yes, there were some rumors between the Dodgers and Tucker, but it was mainly Blue Jays and Mets really being tied to him, and the Dodgers swoop in. It's another one of those tales of this team is the evil empire, and right now they're positioned for a three-peat, and I can't see a team that's going to challenge them. I really can't.
I know, and you want to know what? A lot of people are saying that this is the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yep.
That's going to destroy baseball. But, in reality, I think we've already made it to that point. Kyle Tucker, people are saying that he is the bad guy. He is the worst of the worst now. Kyle Tucker just took where the money was. It wasn't the Mets. It wasn't the Blue Jays. He got a deal. And I think the craziest thing is he's probably going to make more money overall because he's going to get this deal. And then in 4 years from now, he'll be able to sign another deal wherever he wants. That'll probably offer him big money. I doubt this big of money, but still, nonetheless, big money. This is it is what it is for baseball fans. It is what it is. You just kind of have to deal with it. For fans saying that the World Series is already done, the Dodgers have already won, it's over, listen. All I want to say is IKF takes one more step towards home plate, and World Series is over. Or, anything. If Kirk doesn't run into the double play, if he just flares it a little bit farther and puts it over Betts' head, you've got yourself a tie ball game once again. So, for the fans that are saying that baseball is over, you got one more year to watch. All right? 2026 is going to be a big year. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers don't win the World Series. But who's to say? Who's to say? Overall, Anthony, do you think this was the right place for him? Is he meant to be a Dodger?
I think for what he was looking for, yes. I think this move shows you he didn't want to be the guy on a team. He wanted to be a part of the solution. Not the solution, but just a part of the winning mode that the Dodgers are in. And he's exactly that. He's not the guy on this team. If you put him on the Mets, you could say Soto's the guy. Kyle Tucker would be 1B. Soto would be 1A, Kyle Tucker would be 1B. On the Dodgers, his role is severely diminished. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a premier player. He's going to be very important to that team. If he doesn't succeed, it's going to be bad for them. But the pressure is not on him. And he's getting paid look about this. He's getting paid more money per year than Juan Soto. Now, I understand Soto signed for another 14 years. But he's getting $60 million per year as compared to Soto's just over $50 million. So this is, and we could argue all day over whether he's worth that. I would say he's not necessarily worth that. Then again, I really don't care. It's not my money. I'm not the owner spending the money. But he commanded this type of contract. A team as good as the Dodgers are willing to sign him, so that says a lot. But, it's one of those things where you kind of know his headspace just by him signing this deal. If he gave the Mets a chance to match the offer, which he didn't give the Mets a chance to match the offer. He didn't give them a chance to make a better offer. He didn't go back to the Mets. He said, I want your last and final offer. The Mets gave them their last and final offer. Then he went to the Dodgers for $60 million a year. So you know where his headspace is at. He wants to be a part of a solution, not the main solution. And, I give credit to the Dodgers. Like I said, I can't sit here and say, woe is me, when I'd be celebrating the same thing if my owner did it. I go more towards the poor, if you want to call them the poorer owners, they're still billionaires. I go more towards the owners that don't spend as much when they should be spending. That's what's ruining the game. The level of competition in baseball now is not that high. The Dodgers, yes, it's on paper. That paper could be torn up. It could be erased for all we know. But on paper right now, it's the Dodgers by a long shot are the favorites to win the World Series. And there's not many teams that are, and you made a good point about the Blue Jays, yes, but this Tucker signing really extends their lineup. All of a sudden, Teoscar Hernandez isn't that important anymore, and Teoscar Hernandez is a very good player. Tommy Edman is hitting 8th in this lineup. Tommy Edman will be hitting 5th or 6th in most lineups in baseball. This is an all-star MVP lineup almost every spot. And yes, injuries could derail things, underperformance could derail things, but as we're sitting here today on January 20th, they're the favorites to win the World Series by a lot, and they're the first three-peat we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, I think the Yankees were the last.
Yeah.
So there you go. I think that's how it's going to be. And I really like your point of he doesn't want to be the guy. He doesn't want to be the guy. And I don't think it's anything against his play. I just think that he was on a Cubs team that needed him to perform at his top level.
Yeah.
If he doesn't perform at his top level, that team does not make it to the playoffs. It just doesn't. And I think thinking of that long term, I'm not saying it scared him, but wouldn't you rather have protection around you? It's like putting yourself in Aaron Judge's shoes. You have nobody around you.
Right.
There isn't protection. You don't have a Francisco Lindor in front of you. You don't have, a Bryce Harper in front of you, a Trey Turner. You don't have any of these players. Instead, you have to be the guy that starts everything, and some players are meant to do that. Francisco Lindor is meant to do that. He is meant to be the first guy you see. Kyle Schwarber might be meant to do that. Like, these are guys that I want to see, and they don't need protection. Like, they can work. Kyle Tucker's just not that guy in my eyes. So he leaves. We knew he was going to leave. I think all of this was waiting on Alex Bregman. And I think was how it's going to go. I think Bregman was going to fall first. He is such a dominant bat, they wanted to see where he was going to go. Then the next was Tucker, and then Bichette, of course, right after that. Anthony, I know that you are excited to talk about this. Kyle Tucker's a Dodger. 12 hours later, Vincent Picon's getting his haircut. He finishes up his haircut, which, by the way, took way too long, and then comes out of the barbershop and sees, to the Mets, 3 years, $126 million, Bo Bichette. Let me hear it.
Listen, I told you before we were going to start that I have to make fun of the Phillies. I have to get it out of me. It's been a rough offseason for us Mets fans. We've had a lot of departures, but there's nothing better than when you swoop in at midnight and steal the Phillies player. And I know they say it's always sunny in Philadelphia. It hasn't been very sunny here the past week in Philadelphia. I'm just saying, the fly Eagles were not flying, and then the Philadelphia Phillies did not get their guy, and the Mets swooped in. Now, I know there's questions about where's Bo Bichette going to play on this Met team. There's been some people, I'm not going to say who, Mr. Picone on Instagram, who have questioned where Bo Bichette's going to play and said, I don't really understand this move, but this is why I'm here on the show, Vincent. This is why you have your resident Mets fan to explain it to you. Okay, Brett Baty. Brett Baty's a name that did not excite me coming into this offseason. He had a better year last year. I give him credit. He's a solid third baseman, but he is not a difference maker in that lineup. And I was under the impression that they were going to go into this season with him being the starting third baseman. That was just thrown off the table. Now, given the fact that Bichette has an opt-out after every single year, I don't think Brett Baty's going to get traded. But Brett Baty's no longer at third base, which is a good thing. And I understand Bo Bichette has not played an inning at third base, and you can make fun of that if you want. That's fine. But his main issue at shortstop was his range. At third base, range is far less of an issue. He's not a bad glove. He's bad with range. So I have no problem with him at third base. Plus, he has Francisco Lindor to his left, who's a premier defensive talent. So I'm not overly concerned about him defensively. Maybe a little bit with his arm reaching first base, but that's not the biggest issue for me. Biggest issue for me is where's Brett Baty going to play now? Because you're probably, like I said, you're not going to move him because Bichette could opt out after this season. Then you have nothing at third base. Is he going to play first base? You have Jorge Polanco, who's also not played first base. Maybe Baty will try to play first base. He has played a couple of games at first base at the big league level. Not much, but he has played some. It'll be interesting to see how it works out. Bottom line, though, this makes this lineup so much better. It extends the lineup so much. It gives them opportunities to maneuver things around in the field, which is a good thing. That's a good problem to have. We still need a left fielder. I still would love to have Bellinger. Still need pitching. That's a huge issue for me. But I did not see this coming. I was, quite frankly, shocked to see this coming. There was not a whole lot of rumors about Bichette coming to the Mets. It was all about the Phillies. In our last episode on Zoom, I was talking about how well he would fit in your lineup. And that's the biggest thing for me. We took him away from our division rival. Bichette could not have landed with you guys. That would have been a very bad thing for us, especially with our pitching staff. He's here. And that's a good thing. Now, he might only be here for 1 year, but he's here. And we took him away from the Phillies, and I'm very excited about that. And I imagine you as a Phillies fan cannot be happy about that because the Mets, as quiet as an offseason as we had, it looked like all but a lock. You had your offer in there. You met with them. Everything was looking great. And then all of a sudden, Steve Cohen swoops in. Steve Cohen still got it. It might have been a while, but Steve Cohen still got it.
I was waiting for this one. I was waiting for that one. Thank you, Anthony. Okay. I think you're totally right. I think you've brought a lot of points up that I wasn't like. It's a good problem to have. You're really in a good spot. I don't know. Let me ask. Is there a possibility of Acuna, Mauricio, Vientos, maybe Baty, like one of those names being traded?
Oh yeah, I think two of them maybe. I mean, Acuna has had a good winter ball season so far, whatever that means. But he's proved nothing at the big, which really doesn't mean that much. No point really mentioning it much. But it does improve his value at least a slight bit. And he's done nothing at the big league level. So he'd be at best a throw-in on a trade. He's not a main piece in a trade. Vientos coming off of a horrible season, but was great in 2024. I'd like to see him stay only because as a DH, he's still valuable, I think. I don't want him in the field whatsoever. I do not want to see him really ever at first base or third base. He's really bad defensively. But the guy's a good DH. Baty, again, I'm not sure if you're going to move him unless you're very confident that you could retain Bichette even if he opts out. If you're confident in that and you're going to pull out all stops to keep Bichette, or you're confident in some of your prospects, fine, I can live with that. It just worries me for next year if Bichette opts out. But to me, yeah, without a doubt, you're going to see some of these guys move. Now, Mauricio and Acuna, I'd like to see them move, but it would worry me because they don't have value. And they both have some high upside, especially Ronnie Mauricio, who was coming off of a horrific injury a couple years ago, only played a little bit last year. I think there's more upside with him than Acuna. But you have so many. I mean, we talked about this about a month or two ago when we were in studio, how many infield pieces the Mets have. Now you add Bichette to this mix. You add Polanco to this mix. It's a crowded infield. And again, not a bad problem to have. The Mets need pitching, and I sincerely doubt that they're going to sign Framber Valdez. Valdez has a qualifying offer attached to him, so they would lose the draft pick. The draft position would get affected. There's been, problems with Framber Valdez with his catcher and locker room problems. I don't think the Mets want to touch that, especially after the locker room problems they had last year. I think they're going to go in the trade market. Now, whether that means Peralta with the Brewers, maybe that means Joe Ryan with the Twins, I don't know. You give me whatever name. If you give me another name, that's fine. I'll listen to it. It's a good problem to have. That's the thing. And I think it's almost a guarantee they're going to make a trade for starting pitching. Curious to see where that holds us. But I almost guarantee you, if they do make a trade for starting pitching, it's going to be for one of those infielders, for sure.
Okay. I like it. I think from my thoughts, this team has definitely lost a lot of pop in their lineup, but there was no way that they were going to get it back after they lost Alonso. And I think in a game with so many home runs. This is a team that can just, hit for average, hit for average, hit for average. Soto can hit a home run and also hit for average. Like that, I think that's a good problem to have. I've heard a lot of people say, well, they don't have as much pop as they had last year, and that doesn't really bother me. That doesn't bother me at all. I like hitting for average, and just working it through there. Going to be a fun season for them. I mean, this makes it a lot of fun. I would like to see a pitching change. I think that's fair.
Well, let me ask you. So I gave you a couple of names there. Where would you like to see the Mets go in the trade market? Because like I said, it's almost guaranteed to go to the trade market.
I think that they should be the top suitor right now for Freddie Peralta.
That's fair.
I think Freddie Peralta is great. Like, obviously you're going to lose him after a year, but who cares? I mean, this is the team. If you add Freddie Peralta, you add a little protection to Nolan McLean. Hopefully you get a healthy season from Kodai Senga. That's what I want to have. And the Brewers are always looking for cheaper pieces. You can add Acuna, who, could replace Terang one day when he goes to free agency. You could add, if you wanted to add Beatty, you could add Beatty, who has upside to him and could kind of use him as an Andrew Vaughn piece, someone that you want to revitalize his career. I think that's a good thing to have. That's a good thing to have. I like Freddie Peralta, and I like Freddie Peralta a lot more than I like Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan, to me, is too average of a pitcher. I don't know if I could see him being phenomenal. You know another pick that just came to mind
Sure.
that I would love to see, which would also be, a big slap in the face for all Phillies fans? Nick Pivetta.
Okay.
And he's on the market, supposedly. I don't know what really the Padres are doing, but he's on the market. That could be a nice pickup for them. He's got high strikeout numbers. He's got a lot of passion for the game. I think Peralta would be a better mentor for McLean, but I think Pivetta could be good too. That's my thing. Now, we've talked a lot about the Mets. I just want to quickly, because it doesn't matter whatsoever, but quickly give my Phillies perspective of it.
Sure.
I've heard a lot of Phillies fans are like, this is the worst thing. My friend CJ, who I love, my friend CJ goes, this is the worst thing to happen to Phillies fans since Ryan Howard tore his ACL. That is not true at all. That I can't get behind that whatsoever.
Well, how about Orion Kerkering literally 4 months ago?
There was something a month ago. It can't be worse than that. This is my thing. I love the Phillies. I love that they're go-getters. I love that they go put out the contracts and everything. But in my eyes, recently, Harper's in a long-term deal. Turner's in a long-term deal. Nola's in a long-term deal. Castellanos is in a deal that we don't even want anymore. We just signed Adolis for a year, which I like, but they're rolling out the same lineup. They're just going to keep rolling out the same lineup. And as much as I would love to have Bichette on that team, he's not going to change anything. This team, to me, looks like 2012. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. They look like 2012 Phillies. They just came off their best season. They lost in the DS in the season before, and now they're rolling out the exact same lineup, but now they're aged, they're battered. What are you going to do? I'm fine with that. And I'm honestly happy that we didn't sign. This might come as a shock. I'm happy we didn't sign Bichette.
Really?
I don't want another long-term deal. I'd rather, wait for one of these deals to end. I don't want to have, Turner on 11 years, Harper on 13, Nola on 8, and now Bichette on 7. That just worries me too much. I like the Mets deal. I like that it has 3 opt-outs. I mean, how much is he getting paid a year?
He's getting paid around $40 million a year.
Yeah, if I'm him, even if I have a really good season, unless I'm top 3 in MVP voting, I'm probably not opting out. That's probably as much as money as I could get. And I'd be happy with that. Working either on the left or right side of Francisco Lindor, having Marcus Semien around you, I'm telling you, trade for a pitcher, and let me put it this way. If the Mets trade for a pitcher, which they hopefully will, I imagine that's Cohen's top priority right now. If they trade for a pitcher, I would not be surprised if this team is higher in the NL East standings than the Phillies. And I wouldn't be surprised. I would be a little bit shocked, not too much, but a little bit shocked if they won the NL East.
You wouldn't be shocked if they won the NL East?
I think their only competition. I think their only competition is the Braves. Healthy Braves.
You don't think the Phillies are competition?
I think the Phillies are competition, but you saw what the offense did last year. I'm not confident they can replicate that, and I'm not confident that they can, Turner's going to hit 300 again. I'm not confident that Bryce Harper's not going to come back. The only person I'm confident about is Schwarber, and he has another long-term deal. I'm done.
Well, all right. Here, a quick point on the Phillies, quick point on the Mets. Okay, I'll start with the Phillies. The reason I would say, if I were you, that I want Bichette. Now, I'm not saying any of your points are wrong. I think in the long term you're going to be right. But you want to capitalize on every year you have with these guys, because as each year goes on, lesser are the chances that you're going to win, the older they get, and the quicker you're going to have to rebuild. So as of right now, like I said last week on our show, you may not like that they haven't blown the core up and they've kept it, but that's what they've done. Like that's just for the reality of it. And adding Bo Bichette to this lineup makes it better. Like, there's no debating that. It makes it better. And you were a good offensive team last year. Like, we're not talking about a team that stunk last year. They were a good team. Now, obviously, they choked in the playoffs. I understand that. But they are a good offensive team. You add Bichette to that lineup, you're the best offensive team in the NL East. Now, I will say the Braves are close if Acuna stays healthy, whatever. They have a lot of injury concerns. I have heavy doubts with them. But in the NL East right now, with the issues that the Mets have, which there are still a ton of issues, Bo Bichette does not fix this team. Don't get me twisted on that. I'm just excited about the move. Does not fix the Mets whatsoever. Helps the Mets, does not fix them. You have a Mets team that's, in peril right now. You have a Braves team that's having injuries, which, by the way, Ha-Sung Kim's going to miss the first couple months of the year, who's their starting shortstop. They had to pivot and sign a shortstop. Jorge Mateo, I believe, is the name. And so they're already facing injuries, and we're in January. You had an opportunity here, and you still do have this opportunity to win this division. I think you're the favorites to win this division. Why not? You have enough long-term contracts as it is. What is one more going to do at this point? What is one more going to do? You're paying these guys for years anyway. Might as well improve your team now. Okay, that's my Phillies point. My Mets point. The only caveat I could see, besides going in the trade market, and maybe you combine the two, maybe you trade for Peralta and sign the guy I'm about to mention, is Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen's a name that intrigues me, and here's why. He gives you innings. 192 innings last year. Now, he had a bad year. 4.83 ERA. We have enough guys within the ERA that high. I could already hear the Mets fans yelling at me, but hear me out for a second. 2024, 3.65 ERA. 2023, 3.47. Guy's got a career 3.58 ERA in 7 years. And the biggest thing about him, he stays healthy. 33 games this past year, 28 and 24, 34 and 23, 31 and 22. You get the point. He stays healthy. He gives you innings. He's almost consistently around the 200 inning mark. In fact, in 2023, 210 innings. When was the last time a Met pitcher pitched over 200 innings? It's been a while. That would be an intriguing option for me. Now, if you trade for Peralta, sign Zach Gallen, who would not be a crazy contract. It could be a short-term deal, just as David Stearns loves. He loves his short-term deals. You could sign a short-term contract for Gallen. You could get Peralta on a trade. Boom, our rotation is not bad. So that's where I'd start getting excited and get a little cocky here in the studio about my Mets. I'm getting there. But if those things happen, then you're going to see positive Anthony again. But I'm curious to hear your take on what you think about, because like I said, I agree with you. The Phillies should have blown it up. They haven't. Why not add to the lineup?
I don't care about blowing it up. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't want to keep adding to it, because it's getting to the point where, all right, 2 years from now, the Phillies will not be competing.
Why not blow it up then?
Who's going to take on the contracts? Who's going to take on a 3-year contract of Kyle Schwarber in 2 years when he's what? I'm looking at the depth chart right now. I mean, he'll be 36. He'll be 35. He'll be 35. Who's going to want to take on what? 2 years is 20. Who wants to take 5 years of a 35-year-old Trey Turner or a 37-year-old or a 36-year-old Bryce Harper? My thing is, I get it. We're going to put this on the field. That's fine. We'll make some small deals. That's okay. But I don't want it to start jeopardizing the 2030s, which is an insane statement to be making, by the way. But, it should not be jeopardizing then. We lost out on Ranger. That's fine. I don't even think we offered him a deal. But now Andrew Painter can finally develop somewhere. He finally has a spot in the rotation. And if Wheeler comes back, I hope they move Walker before Wheeler, which I imagine they would. You have Duran. You finally have your guy in the pen that you need. Okay. Again, my problem is You have so much, all these guys that are past their prime. Bohm, who's 30, is past his prime. Marsh, honestly, never hit his prime. Adolis Garcia, I'm excited to see him play because he's a right-handed bat that can hit. So that'll be interesting. But listen, earlier this offseason, Dave Dombrowski said Bryce Harper's not elite. And now Bryce Harper's like, he's got a little fire under him. That's fine. I don't think he was wrong for saying that. I don't think Dombrowski was wrong for saying that. I think he could probably say that about 2/3 of this lineup. Like, they're just not elite anymore. That's fine. That's fine for me.
Is it fine for you?
It is fine. You want to know what? I had my fun. I don't think this team will be able to make the jump over the hump. 2023 was the year. You blew it. It's over. Why blow it up now and go back to 2016 when you could just keep the core, sell some more tickets, hit some more home runs with Schwarber, hopefully have a couple more good, decent years of Harper and Turner. I know we're supposed to go out there and win, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon.
So run it back. Don't add any more long-term contracts. Just run what you have now. Boy, this is like, you're like Charlie Brown today. You're very like upset about your Phillies. Listen, I understand the sentiment, but if you're going to keep the contracts on your team, it's the Steve Cohen mindset. I don't know. Maybe it's the big time, which you are a big time market mindset, and you have given out big contracts. Maybe it's just me. But if you're going to keep these contracts here, and I understand what you're saying, like you're not going to get a ton for some of these guys. I do think you could get something for Trey Turner if you wanted to. I do think if Schwarber had a good start to the year, if you wanted to trade him at the deadline, you could get something for him. If you're going to go with that approach, though, I'm not quite sure why he would have signed these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, you went with the approach of keeping these guys. Why not add to it? And I think that you make a good point about Andrew Painter. I understand that, but you don't know. The fact is, you don't know what you're going to get from him. You don't, for all you know, and he's had some injury issues. You don't know what you're going to get. Top of your rotation: Sanchez, Luzardo, even Nola, solid. But you get towards that back end, Taijuan Walker, like you're getting towards some pitchers there that really aren't big league pitchers anymore. I would have liked to see you retain Suarez, and he didn't even sign for that expense. I mean, he got a good deal, but it wasn't that crazy of a deal. I think you could have given him that contract. I don't see any reason why not.
I think the thing about Suarez is, and I don't think we got to talk about it last week. Last week it happened after the show, right?
It might have happened, yeah.
Yeah, I'm. The thing about Suarez for me, and I think the thing is, he could be a 1-2 starter on almost. I'm going to say, I'll say half the league. I'll say half the league, maybe a little bit more. He could be a 1-2 starter. I mean, the Mets, he would be a 1 starter now, hypothetically right now.
Sure.
He would be. Even the Braves, like he would probably be the 1 starter on the Braves.
If Strider were healthy,
Strider,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You could. Okay, I'm going to say it right now. In the East, he would be the 1 starter on every team, except for the Phillies. The Phillies is the one team that's not. You have Wheeler and Sanchez in front of him, and although, Suarez has really good cases to be that 1-2, he's just not. The Red Sox, he's the 2. And sure. I think that's what really attracted him. He's still in a big market, and, he'll be – I think another thing – and I don't think it was ever said, and I'm just really putting out a hypothetical out there, and if it's wrong, that's fine. But in big games, I feel like Ranger wants to pitch. He wants to be in the big moments. And whether that's, making big starts or not, since 2023, he's played in 2 playoff games. He started 1 of them, and he only went 4 innings and a third. I think he would rather be in starting games than finishing them in a playoffs perspective.
And he's earned that because he's been really good in the playoffs. So if I were you, I wouldn't have a problem with that necessarily because he was one of your most clutch players in general in the playoffs. Like if you didn't have him, you would have gotten knocked out of the playoffs way quicker than you did.
Exactly.
So that's another reason. Like, yes, he signed an expensive deal. I'm not trying to make it sound like he signed a cheap deal, but it's not a deal that the Phillies are incapable of signing. It's not a deal that breaks any records. Like it's a good contract, but it's plausible, especially for a Phillies organization that has given out big contracts before. So from my standpoint, if you sign Bichette and you sign Suarez, I feel much better about this team than I do right now. The way I feel about it right now, you're still the favorite to win the division. But if maybe my plan comes to fruition with the Mets, where if you get Peralta and you get Gallen, and you get Bellinger, which I'm not confident all three of those things would happen. Let's just say hypothetically they would. All of a sudden, the Mets are getting pretty close. Then you have a pretty good lineup, and you have a pretty good rotation on paper, at least. That's something that you could have prevented from happening, at least somewhat. And I think Dombrowski's a smart guy. He's built winners before, but he has his shortcomings. And I think sometimes, especially with this team, he gets too complacent. And I think it's been proven time and time again, this team doesn't have it to get over that hump to win a World Series. It's been 4 years now since you made it to the World Series. A lot of the same pieces are still there. The team hasn't changed all that much. At a certain point, you gotta change something. Now, if you're not gonna blow up the team, which I agree that you shouldn't necessarily do, add to it. And there's been a ton of options I just gave that, okay, maybe you don't like all of them, but at least one or two I would think you'd like, and they haven't done anything. I like the signing of Adolis Garcia, but that's not going to make or break you. So, I don't know. I think the Phillies are kind of in that in-between position right now. The good thing is your division isn't crazy good, so you can still win. I would just get worried if Steve Cohen and David Stern start going, scorched earth and sign a bunch of guys and trade for a bunch of guys. Then I would get a little worried depending on those moves.
All right. I think it'll definitely be a battle. We'll have to see. I don't think it's going to be anything, like a 20-game lead in the East. But no. I think it'll be, it'll be a good East battle for sure this year. Yeah. Also, the Phillies signed JT back, which I think was their immediate bandage reaction to Bichette getting signed. But I'll be honest, I like the JT signing more than a lot of things because he is a good catcher for your starters. He is someone that your starters want to see behind the dish. So a lot of people hate the JT signing. They think it's just bandage. I think it's fine. I like the JT signing. We have young pitchers that need a lot of developing. I want to see Jesus Luzardo get a little bit better, and I want to see Andrew Painter have a really good rookie season. And why would you want it with anyone else behind the dish? He's not going to hit. But I've accepted that point now. He should. Last year, he was hitting in the 5-hole. I don't want him hitting the 5-hole. Not the 5-hole. I'd rather have Bohm or Stott up there. Leave him in the 8-hole, the 9-hole. That's fine. I don't care about a catcher that can hit. I just want a catcher that can, improve pitchers. And that's something that Marchand can't do.
In today's game, I would say more than half of what a catcher brings to the table, in theory, is defense. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of guys in baseball now that are good hitting catchers. You could give me maybe a handful, but out of the 30 teams, it's not a lot. And Realmuto is one of those guys. He has a calming presence behind home plate that the pitchers have talked about numerous times, that they love him behind there. And of course, if you bring up Painter, you do not want Marchand behind home plate. No offense to Marchand, but maybe he'll be a good catcher. I don't know. But you want the proven guy. You want the veteran who's going to calm the rookie and who knows what pitches to call and all that stuff. 100%. I understand both sides of it. It's a 3-year deal for a guy who's already way over the hill. It's frustrating. I get it. If there was a bigger catcher market, which there's not, I'd be knocking this move. I'd be saying it's terrible. There's just not. Who are you going to sign? If you were upset about this move, who do you want? If you're a Phillies fan, do you want Marchand? Do you want one of the other free agent catchers out there? Because give me a name. Tell me who's better. There isn't. So, yeah, I think without a doubt you had to bring Realmuto back. If you didn't, and you added to this team in other areas and you left it as Marchand, that would be bad. That would be very bad. All of a sudden, you don't know what you're getting out of that pitching staff then. That pitching staff really heavily relies on him. And, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I get the downsides to it. He can't hit anymore. He's an okay hitter. He's still solid defensively, helps the pitchers out. At a certain point, you have to say it is what it is. Hopefully you develop a catcher in the farm system. Hopefully, whatever. You worry about that when you get there. As of right now, he makes you the better team, though. And I think that's what the business of the Phillies should be doing right now, working on making themselves a better team. And they haven't done that enough. That would be my problem if I were you.
I agree. All right, Anthony. Well, we've kind of come to the end of our show, but not that much. So I have a game set for us.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
So that we can play. And it's a throwback game. 2 throwback games for us. One of them we've never played before, but it's throwback in a different sense. And another one that is a throwback for us.
Okay.
So I have our mystery player game, our mystery team. If you remember this, I will be telling you, Anthony, the whereabouts of where these players were prior to coming to their team now, and you have to guess which team this is. Now, we're using the starting 5 in the rotation.
Okay.
Can you guess it?
Let's see.
Let's see. All right. I think this one's very hard. All right. I'll start from number 5, so we'll work all the way up. This player was drafted 4th round by the Arizona Diamondbacks and then traded.
Oh, now I know it. Go ahead.
Any guesses?
I have zero idea. Oh, that was a joke. Please keep going.
Their number 4 starter was at Pittsburgh, then traded to Boston, and then traded to this team.
Pittsburgh, traded to Boston, then traded to this team. Okay, and I'm guessing a team, right?
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I did not pick this team. I had Rosh sitting next to me, and I said pick a number 1 through 30. And she picked this team, and I was like, oh, my God, this is going to be hard. This player was drafted 5th by the Rangers in 2011, declined it, and then went 11th to this team.
Okay, keep going.
And the number 1 starter never pitched for Seattle, and then got traded over to Milwaukee.
Before they went to this team?
Yes.
Oh, man. This is a tough one.
Yes.
Can you give me a division?
Central.
I'm just going to look up the Central divisions so I could get the teams in front of me. Let's see. I don't know, man. This is give me on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard do you think this is?
This is I honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. Besides like the Marlins, which it's not, and like the White Sox, I think this one's like incredibly hard.
All right. Is this a team that's had recent success?
Yes.
Okay, that narrows it down a little bit. It eliminates the White Sox. It eliminates the Twins, I guess, yeah. Eliminates the Cardinals. Eliminates the Pirates. I'm going to say this is the Cincinnati Reds.
No, it is not the Reds. I'll tell you something else. One of these players is somebody that has been in talks for trade rumors.
Okay. Brewers.
Yes, it is the Brewers.
Okay.
And I made a mistake by saying Freddie Peralta. So
all right.
I said he never pitched for Seattle, and then he went to Milwaukee.
See, I trusted you.
I meant to say something else.
I trusted you.
Oh, I put it on here. I'm such an idiot. I put on here Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But I should have just put this team.
I was saying to myself, should I jump on that and say Vincent's telling me a lie? But I didn't want to think you were telling me a lie. I guess it's okay.
Oh my gosh, I felt it go through me. I was like, oh, I just said Milwaukee.
That's okay.
All right, well, that was a hard one. But I want to talk about Milwaukee for a second because Freddie Peralta is on the trade market, and I feel like this is a guy that could be in a lot of different trades. So, just quickly, Mets are a big option for him. Do you see any other suitors that would really like to work with him? I have one, so I can go first if you'd like.
Yeah.
I would like to see him as another team with a really good backstop. I think the best backstop in the league, the Giants. I would really like to see him with the Giants. Behind Logan Webb, you get to learn from Robbie Ray. It's a pitcher-friendly ballpark. And you have Patrick Bailey as your backstop, who has been a defensive whiz for them. And is somebody that, again, a lot of pitchers want to be around. So that is my other landing spot besides the New York Mets.
All right. While you were saying that, I Googled Freddie Peralta just to see what's the latest news and rumors on Freddie Peralta. And I'm half glad I did, and I'm half annoyed that I did. Now, let me explain why. The Dodgers, apparently, are interested in Freddie Peralta.
Oh, my God.
And this is a real report. This is coming from The Athletic, which is a premier news organization for baseball and for sports in general. Okay, I'll give you the Dodgers as my team just so I could have a quick rant. Now, if this is correct, which we don't know, this could just be a rumor on a January. That's not a busy January. We don't know. If this is correct and he joins the Dodgers, you will hear the rant of all rants from me on the show, and you've heard a good amount of rants from me on the show. But if that happens, and he joins this rotation that already has Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, Ohtani, if that happens, man, I don't know. At that point, I am beaten down, and I don't know what to say. And unfortunately, I could see it only because of some of the injury issues that they've had. Now, on paper, yes, the team you just gave is a better option, yes. And there's a billion other options I could probably give you that it would fit another team better. But what teams are going to be willing to make moves? There's a short list of them. And I understand this is a trade market move, but this is also somewhat of a free agent move because if you trade for him, you're going to have to extend him if you want the full value for him. So why not, if you're the Dodgers, trade for him and then extend him, which you have the money to do, and then you have a backup option if Snell's not healthy, if Glasnow's not healthy, which they've had a hard time of being healthy. So if it happens, I will be very upset, but I'm going to go with the Dodgers just because it was my most recent move. Now, again, I'm not going to say that if they sign him that they're going to be 100% World Series winners. But the main reason I would really be upset is because it would take a big shot at the Mets, and it would totally destroy my plan of getting Gallen and Peralta. So I'll go with the Dodgers, but with an asterisk that I'll be very upset if it happens.
All right, we're bringing in a guest right now, CJ Staniak, who is a big Phillies fan, and a big Philadelphia fan as a whole. CJ, I got 2 questions for you, all right? Because you were the guy, and I feel like we never got to talk about this. You were the guy that told me that Kyle Tucker could be a top 10 or 15 outfielder.
Yep.
I don't think that...
top 10, 15 position player in baseball even, I go as far as to say.
I have to say, and I think Anthony agrees with me, I don't think he's the player that'll lead a team to a World Series. I don't think he could be the backbone of a team. I think he could be a good add-on. And that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say because we've never seen him do it, right? And with that Astros team, obviously, some of the more notorious moments that I remember from that World Series came at the hands of Yordan Alvarez, of course. So you don't expect him, or you haven't seen him necessarily take that lead role. And I think the Cubs were kind of hoping that last year, if they were a contending team, which in the beginning of the year it certainly looked as though they were going to be, that Kyle Tucker would be the guy leading the charge. And he did for most of the season. I mean, he got on a month streak there where he had a broken pinky or whatever it was and had a hit over a span of a month, which really hurt the eye candy for everyone looking on Baseball Reference. But dude still finished with something like an 850 OPS last year. I think he is such a talented hitter. I don't think the Phillies necessarily needed to go after him. I don't think the Dodgers need to go after him, obviously, either. But I think next year you'll really see his impact when he's protected in a lineup with some of the best players around him, and maybe that goes against your point that he can lead a team on his own. But I thought it would have been really interesting to see him continue his career with a team like the Cubs, maybe even go to one of the teams looking for a bat like the Blue Jays, and to really see what he can create in the middle of the order there. Obviously, you're going to need more than one hitter to lead a team, but I think Kyle Tucker is a top 10 or 15 hitter in baseball when he's going the right way.
Okay. I said that he's the kind of guy that needs protection around him.
And I think you could say that about most people.
You could, but you can't say that about Aaron Judge or Juan Soto. Like, these are guys that can be left alone.
Sure, and he's not the upper S-tier echelon of players. Certainly don't think he's worth the tag that he was given at around $60 million a year.
That's insane.
But that's just the way of the market, and the Dodgers, we know that they bring in money hand over fist with Ohtani. As far as merchandise, ticket sales, Dodger dogs, all of it. They have enough money to make that happen, so kudos to them for doing it because their number clearly doesn't matter.
So, one quick point.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing, and I already said this to you, but I want to say it to CJ, he had the opportunity to be the guy not the guy, but one of the guys with the Mets.
Yeah.
And he turned down an opportunity. He didn't even give the Mets a chance to match the offer with the Dodgers. Now, I don't think that necessarily he would have done that, or the Mets would have done that. But he had that opportunity, and he chose to just be a mix of guys in L.A., and there's been some rumors about Tucker that how much does he really love the game of baseball? Is he really that baseball guy? Like, honestly, I think some of that stuff's kind of stupid. Like, if a guy goes to hits 30 home runs, who really cares? But it does go to show you, at least it gets in the mentality of him where if you want it to be the guy, like maybe Bichette wants to be, you join the Mets. Maybe you're the 1B to Soto, or even the 1C to Soto and Lindor, but you're up there as one of the guys.
Yeah.
And Tucker had that opportunity, and I think it says a lot about him that he didn't want to come to New York, I don't think, and he didn't want to be one of those premier guys in baseball. Now, I don't know what that says about him as a player. I really don't think it matters in the long run. But I think it is an interesting tidbit there where he knew Cohen maybe would give him that same type of contract, didn't even give him a chance to match him.
I think he probably would have gotten the same offer from the Mets. I think they were at that point, and we saw that the offer that they gave to Bichette, so that makes you think they'd go even steeper for somebody like Kyle Tucker and match that. It's a really nuanced conversation because I think as a player, from the outside looking in with somebody on this decision, you want to topple the Dodgers and the evil empire, and you want to be the one to be a difference maker in the NLCS or in the World Series and create a new chapter for a different franchise. But when you walk into an organization like the Dodgers that is first class from the top down, they know how to run a business. They know how to develop players, and they do it at the major league level, at the minor league level. They know how to win championships, obviously, and not to mention who's going to argue with the weather, who's going to argue with a lot of the greats of the game playing on your team with Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. Those are guys that are going to be sending you text messages, hey, come on over, let's do this, and I think there's a lot of things that go into it that make the Dodgers really hard to say no to. It's obviously really frustrating to watch from the outside. I think a team like the Mets would have still made sense. It seems like they have some guys that are really likable in that locker room, and it starts with obviously Francisco Lindor, who I know he's had his fair share of issues with a couple different teammates, but still seems like a guy that you'd want to put your all on the line for, and a captain that you really want to take pride in having. It's very difficult to say from the outside, but I think the Dodgers have a really great pitch. Obviously, they continue to bring in all these guys year after year. It just really sucks to watch from the outside when you're a fan of one of those other top NL contenders.
I think that's perfectly said. Perfectly. I don't know. It should be interesting. It should be very interesting this year. CJ, next point for you, as a big Phillies fan. Bichette's gone.
Yep.
And you were, I wouldn't say quoted, but you told me it was the worst moment since Howard tore his ACL in 11.
Yep.
So I honestly thought you were joking when you first told me that. And I was like, you're not joking, are you?
I am not joking. I think that Bo Bichette's flip to the Mets is probably the darkest day in this franchise since Ryan Howard popped his Achilles on that fateful October day back in 2011. Listen, we obviously know the Mets got into desperation mode there and just kind of threw a blank check at Bichette. I don't blame Bichette at all. How can you say no to that? It's a short-term deal. I mean, in his eyes, he can potentially make even more after this, the way that the market's going. You get your money now because who knows what's going to happen with the lockout next year. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to take that deal, but just from the Phillies' perspective, man, I mean, the one thing already is your enemy gets stronger. The team that booted you out last year just picked up one of the best hitters in the entire game the night previous. Now comes the point where the issue is because they should have signed Bichette before that point. They should have closed the deal. Weren't able to do it. It was kind of just, hey, here's our offer. We think we have the best. And then when it gets to desperation time, the Mets will throw money at anybody, and good for them. They should. Bichette's a good player. Obviously, $42 million is a lot of money, or whatever the price tag is, but I don't really think it matters when you need somebody in the middle of your order, and the Mets dunked all over the Phillies. Steve Cohen dunked all over John Middleton. And it's a very, very sad day because we are going to do this same circus yet again. We are going to roll into October with Alec Bohm as our four-hitter, Brandon Marsh right behind him, JT right behind him, Bryson Stott right behind him. I mean, how much longer can we do this? 3 years in a row now, the bats have died late in the season. 4 years in a row, you could even say, in the World Series back in 22. I mean, they got no hit in the middle of that series. They lost Game 5, 3-2 or whatever it was, didn't score until the 8th inning pretty much. Mm-hmm. It's been the bats every year, and how many times can we do the same thing? I was hoping some pickup like a Dolis Garcia would be, kind of this, take a flyer on a guy, see what he's made of. Let's see how much potential the bat has. They are now going to need him to be one of the best hitters in that entire lineup because there is such a lack of potential everywhere else. And I get it, Dave Dombrowski's built a lot of championship teams. We should trust him. I want him fired. I think he should be out of a job because he clearly does not know how to build in the current state of baseball, in the current game that we're playing. The Dodgers have reimagined the entire way that we're doing this, and Dave Dombrowski refuses to keep up. We're now going to have to hope that more one-year rentals or more one-year signings are going to do a good job, and if not them, then prospects, which we know we can't develop. So,
well, that was going to be my next question. Do you think part of the problem is that we can't develop prospects?
Yes, it's a huge problem. The part that people don't talk about is the Dodgers have the best farm system in all of baseball, and they have for the last decade. They always have top prospects, and whether guys have worked out or not, I mean, Gavin Lux is a prime example of somebody who didn't really work out, but they were still able to find a way to make him valuable. They stuck him out in center field. They put him out wherever they could find him, and it doesn't even just go as far as that. They have pitchers that are still looking to break out, I would say, a little bit, but they find ways to develop guys at the major league level and make them even better there, too. So the Phillies can't do that. We saw Bryson Stott come up and have his best year years ago. Alec Bohm's best year was his rookie year back in 2020. The guy's 30 years old now. It's like, how much longer can we be like, well, I think this year's the year for these guys. We can't keep doing this. Same thing with Brandon Marsh. The guy's 6'4", has an amazing frame, should be smacking 30 homers a year, and he's a contact hitter that can only hit against righties. It's a lack of, it's the dysfunction at every level of our system, and it's really, really sad. It's just a dark day. I don't want to get in your guys' way too much, but yeah, this first time here on the walk-off, just got to air it out on the Phillies. Absolutely disgusting last week. First time.
Well, see, I'm glad CJ came in here because Vincent over here is like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So I needed to
I didn't
hear
say
the
it was
Philly.
that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I don't want
The
any more
sky is
long-term
falling.
contract.
The sky is falling.
Listen, this is my take. I just don't see a reason for another big contract. It's not like Bichette's going to take us to the World Series. It's another guy that's going to be we're going to see in October. And that's fine. Like, Castellanos had his bright points in October, but he's never been able to take this team.
Yeah.
Everyone falls asleep. Schwarber falls asleep. Harper falls asleep. Turner, like...
And it's crazy because it's almost like Alec Boehm's our 4-hitter, JT Realmuto's our 4-hitter, and that leaves our 2 and 3 unprotected. It's a wild concept that we talked about it in the last 10 minutes, and yet the Phillies in 4 years have not applied it to the middle of their order. It's just unbelievable, the levels of dysfunction and misunderstanding of how to build the proper lineup and baseball team.
I will refuse to believe, though. 2023 was our year. That was the point. The window, and this is my other thing.
It's not like the bullpen got that much better. I mean, I'm happy with Brad Keller. It's a nice pickup, but I mean, we're still depending on a lot of the same guys yet again to be like, well, Orion Kirkring, who knows? Maybe this is the year. I mean, unless that actual catharsis created something in him and just the worst moment of his entire life fuels him next year, we're going to have the same bullpen yet again.
Whole year of Duran. Whole year of but
right.
The
Duran was
other
a good
thing
pickup.
is, like, what? Harper, Schwarber, Turner, nothing's going to change. Like, you bring in Bichette, that's fine. But now somebody's going to move to the 4-hole, and the 5-hole's going to be.
But the thing that changes is Bichette's an elite postseason hitter. And so you add at least one elite postseason hitter into your lineup, that can only help the rest of the guys in that lineup.
But the Blue Jays got to the World Series because Vlad's a huge postseason hitter. Bichette was injured for a lot of the postseason. That's fine. They made it to Game 7 because Bichette was a great hitter. We're not going to make it because we only have one good postseason hitter. I'm fine with this. But in my eyes, let them play out their career.
Well,
it's 2012 all over again, and it's just it's old guys coming
I'm with
out,
you there.
and nothing's going to change.
Who knows what's going on with Wheeler, how he responds. The rotation's still solid, but it still has question marks.
This is Wheeler's last year. He's done after he wants to retire.
No, but we don't understand that. It's all good. We have a lot of faith in the locker room. You can almost make up the quote that Dombrowski had this morning, which I saw that they're done adding free agents. Didn't hear the entire quote, but I already know what it says. Yeah, we trust our guys in this clubhouse a lot.
You make me feel good as a Mets fan, man. This is all of a sudden giving me some I shouldn't have any confidence, but I do.
Listen, I think this team still can get 90 wins. I still think that they're probably the favorite at this point to win the NL East. I just don't know what the potential is to win a World Series, which should be the goal. It shouldn't be to make the playoffs or win the NL East.
If the Mets get Peralta, Bellinger, and let's just say throw Zach Gallen in there, that was my idea.
Well,
Do you say that the Mets are more of a favorite to win?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That lineup is borderline probably already better than the Phillies. Obviously, a lot of it comes down to your starters and guys that can make 150 innings in a year, throw 170 innings in a year. We'll see how it all shakes out with them, but I expect their pitching to be back where it was 2 years ago. I think that this is a lot tighter of a division race than a lot of people think, especially right now, not to mention if they pick up all those studs that you just mentioned.
I'm feeling
telling
good now,
you,
guys.
you get one good pitcher on that Mets team, and somewhere to back up McClain in any way possible. McClain showed that he can slice up any team. I mean, he sliced up the Phillies.
He scarred you when you saw him at Citi Field.
Oh, my gosh. That actually destroyed me. I've never had a worse experience. That was my birthday present from my girlfriend. She was like, yeah, let me take you to a Phillies game. They're playing at Citi Field. I was like, why would you do that to me? What did I do to you? I got you Broadway tickets for your birthday, but you're just going to take me to the worst place on... Ugh.
Devil magic.
I can't. I do it.
Is that Parabolic Mike night?
No, bro. That was Nolan McClain's start where he sliced them up, and they scored the first run. And Nicole's like, oh, it's okay, it's only one run. And I said, that's all they'll
That's
need.
it.
And that was how the game ended.
We can always write the end of the story with this Phillies team. And that's what it comes down to. That's why there needs to be a shakeup.
But, again, Harper was too long of a contract. I understand you probably couldn't get him for any less. Turner was too long of a contract. I understand you probably couldn't get him for less. Schwarber is going to be here when he's 38.
Yeah.
He's going to be 30. Now, I imagine he's not going to be starting. But
He better be at his price tag, $30 million a year.
This is it. This is all you need. That's it. Philly's done. It's destroyed. It was fun while it lasted. 4 years of nothing.
See, I've made you pessimistic.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you all for listening to the Walkoff. We've gone a little bit over our time. We'll see you next time here, next Tuesday, same time, same place. Thank you all for listening.